Hey friends, Mindy here. I have a little flip through for you today. This is my completed journal that I used to work through Paradox Truths in Contrast from Bythewell4god. As you can see, she ended up pretty chunky for being such a small journal, which is just the way that I like them. But I did add a couple of the ephemera pieces, or an ephemera piece and a journaling card here to the front of my journal. I'm just going to take you through what I did. I did have a couple of process videos and here on YouTube, and then I do have a couple of reels over on Instagram as well. So if you haven't seen those, you can go check those out. I'll link the playlist for this down below in the description. So on the front page here, I just have the kit sticker. I always like to include those in my journals so I know when I still need to date this, but when we worked on this particular kit. And then this first page just has some of the stenciling in the background. I use the ephemera pieces. I loved these little ones with the houses as a little tuck spot for all of my notes and things. And so I have a journaling card here and a flashcard with verses on it. And then I created a little vellum pocket over here on this page, and then loving as always these labels that have the scripture in them as well. So, and then I just put a little clear sticker down here on my little vellum pocket there. Day 2 has a little background of texture paste. This is actually that snowflake stencil. I think I have a process video for this one. I'm just using this ephemera piece right here to hold this journaling card closed. It just is a little bit chunky with all of the texture paste and these glass beads that are in here. So it just kind of helps hold that closed. And then I used this journaling card as a pocket to hold all of my notes for this day. This one was called Strength and Weakness, and then this is the one, I have this as a reel actually over on Instagram. I did a little bit of a word study here from the devotional. I used that word exploration card for that. And then in the background of this page, I just stamped out that Greek word multiple times, just kind of, you know, in all different directions. Used these beautiful snowflake stickers. These were probably my favorite thing next to these little houses this month. And then I just have, again, all of my notes tucked in the little ephemera piece. And then this day was called Gaining by Losing. And again, I just used the ephemera pieces to create little pockets and tuck spots. This is a previous stencil from Bythewell4god. I think it's called Dots and Dashes or something like that. One of my favorites of all time. And so I just did that kind of in the background, really, again, not like a full stencil, just kind of hit and miss a little bit. I wanted it to really just add a little bit of color to the background because I was working with both white pages and the papers from the devotional, or from, you know, that coordinated with the devotional, sorry. I wanted to have some interest just on that back white paper. I have another one of those labels. Again, another ephemera piece as a pocket here. On this day, same thing. I actually used one of the larger ephemera pieces, and I have some notes tucked into this pocket. And then this piece that you see over here is actually one of the mini file folders. I glued it so that it's a pocket basically on both sides to hold all of my notes. And then again, the little journaling, the little label with the scripture on it. And then in the background, I know it's kind of hard to see, but I did use another older stencil, and just to give the background just a little bit more interest. And then this little ephemera piece is kind of holding everything together. I don't know how that got on there. And then this is the back side of that file folder. So again, this page just has some stenciling. This is like, I think, Lovely Lace or something like that I used in the background here. And then again with a couple, actually layered 2 ephemera pieces here together to kind of look like one piece and to give me a little bit more space to hold my notes. So I have notes in both places, and again, those beautiful labels. And on this day, I actually layered 2 ephemera pieces here again, just to make one really big one, just to make sure that my little journaling cards are nice and secure in there. And then this was one of the verse cards from the devotional, and I just layered stickers in the background. I did hit it a little bit with some distress ink, just to kind of give it a little bit of color in the background. And then I had one of the little faux washies along the bottom, and then again, my notes tucked in the scripture card. This day, I do have a process video for, I use the beautiful stamp set with the birch trees on it, and I just watercolored that and then created a little pocket down here with this label and a couple of the ephemera pieces. Over here I have some vellum again as a pocket, and then I added some clear stickers along the bottom again just to give it a little bit of interest for this pocket. And I left a clear, you know, it's vellum, but so that you could really see this beautiful paper in the background. On this day, this was the, you know, basically the inside of a folded pattern paper. So I just added a few of those snowflake stickers. I love these stickers. And then again, I created another little cluster with the ephemera pieces to tuck in my notes, and then a journaling card. And I like that this almost looks like it's part of the scene, but at the same time, this is where some of my notes are tucked in there. So this day was called Rest While Yoked. This is actually the backer that comes in the kit, and I just tore it down because it was just beautiful. And then I have my notes tucked over on that side. And then I used that swirly stencil. I can't remember the name of it. I should have looked that up. And then another word study just kind of clipped in there. And this is a blow clip from the kit. And then another paper of mine this was probably my favorite. It's hard to say, but this might have been my favorite pattern paper that they released this month with these houses along in the ledger in the background. I just absolutely love it. So I wanted to keep as much of this on here as I could so that you could see it. So I just added the label here, and then on this side I added another strip of paper that has all of my notes and the beautiful journaling cards in there as well. And then this one, there's a reel for this one over on Instagram. And again, I glued two ephemera pieces together to give me this really nice wide section so that I have a pocket for all of my notes, because this is a little bit chunky over here. I think I got that stuck in the glue. Oh no. Let me just get that out of there. Okay. So I used a variety of sprays. I used a Distress Oxide spray, a Distress Mica Stain, and one of the Spritz sprays on here. And then I did the texture paste over the top, with that same snowflake stencil that I love, which was actually from last month, but it just worked out really well for this kit. And then I included the last of the 3 scripture verse cards from the devotional over here. And then in this one, I don't know how well you can actually see it, but in the back, I stamped in the color Lost Shadow just very lightly and not even perfectly because this paper was really dimensional. But this is actually that stamp set from last month with the little scene, the little village scene, but it just went so well with this file folder. I did have to trim this file folder down just ever so slightly because it was just a little bit wider than the pages of my book. So on this side, I just trimmed it down a little bit and then rounded the corners, and then I glued it closed so that it would be a pocket for my notes. I have a little strip of that washi along the bottom. And then on this side, I had some printed vellum that I've just had in my stash for literally ever. And then I included this journaling card with some more notes. But I liked that, you know, I wanted to be able to still see that journaling card. So on this last day, for day 14, I have just a couple little pockets that I made from the pattern paper. And then I added the rest of the stickers that I had left over from that page because, again, these were my favorite. And so that creates this background. And then I just added a couple of the snowflake pattern papers, and I added the last 2 houses that I had from this devotional because I love them so much, just as little accents for my pocket. And then I do have a couple pages back here that are, you know, blank, but I wanted to make sure that when I created this journal, I had enough pages to work through. So I don't mind that there's a couple in the end that are blank. And this journal was designed so that you can pull out, you know, the pages. If you wanted to, with something like this, you could go back through at this point, or I could go back through at this point and sew it in there, but I actually like it like this, so I'm going to leave it, but that is an option. But it did make working on some of these pages, particularly like these later ones, a lot easier when I could just pull it out and do the artwork on there and then stick it back into the journal. So, but you can see she's nice and chunky. I'm going to have to add a closure probably. But that's it. So if you like this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.